So is there a topic that is more sensitive and has been more long running in Sydney than the subject of tree lopping?
Tree lopping.
Can
Well,
you?
there are two sides to it. There are people who go and lop trees to try and get a decent view. There are other people who have really unsafe trees in their backyards out the front who can't get them cut down. Well, wait a minute. Who can't get them cut down and are worried about the safety issues. So that's the two sides to it. What we're talking about today, though, is a situation where there are people who worry that they don't have a decent view because there's a tree in the way, and suddenly some of the leafier, more exclusive suburbs of Sydney, under the new 1050 bushfire laws, which are good laws, if you've got a tree within 10 metres of your house or scrub that's within 50 metres, you can clear it if you're in this bushfire zone. You don't need to go and
Bypass all of
yeah,
those
just go and get
ridiculous
it done.
planning processes.
Just go and get it done. But it turns out that Mosman is in this bushfire zone, and I can't remember too many bushfires in Mosman. But so what's happening is, all you hear in the mornings, particularly on the weekends, you just hear the sound of chainsaws going everywhere in Mosman as all these trees are coming
It used
down.
to be the sound of kookaburras over there, wasn't it?
That's right. So, once upon a time it was leafy Mosman, and this is one of the sneering sort of reverse snobbery. Oh, leafy Mosman. Well, it won't be leafy much longer. Based on what we found out today, all these trees are coming down.
Well, we spoke to the Deputy Mayor and he says there's been 37 trees lopped officially in the last couple of months under these new planning laws, but he doesn't know how many have been lopped illegally. And he says that if you look at the horizon right across Mosman at the moment, you can actually see the trees almost disappearing by the day. And he fears the moment when it's just going to be a concrete jungle over there.
That's right. And look, part of that is the aesthetics of the harbour. You look up there, it looks beautiful. That's one of the great things about our city, having so many of these trees. Of course, you should be able to remove a tree if it poses a danger or if it's going to create a bushfire danger. But there are people who are taking advantage of this. How the hell this has been allowed to happen is a good question. The federal MP is a fellow called Tony Abbott, who's actually set up a green army as part of his dealing with climate change, where people are going to go out and plant trees. So maybe he ought to be intervening and doing something about this.
At least we've answered one of those time-honoured questions about Mosman and Sydney, about why there are so many big four-wheel drive gas guzzlers in that suburb, because they need them to tow away the trees after they've cut them down.
Very, very good.